So welcome to all of you. Today we will see some theorems on the continuous function. That is combination of the continuous function. So that is what if we have given two or three functions, then what happen for their sum, difference, product, division, scalar multiple, or the composition of the two functions, three functions. Okay, so we have to see what happened for that such type of the functions. Okay, so if the functions are continuous, then what happened for the combination of that functions? Okay, so this is the theorem that A is the subset of R. So R is the set of the real number. Suppose f and g are the functions from A to R. So B be the real number. Suppose C be a point of A. That means C is the element of A, and so what are these functions f and g? They are the continuous at x is equal to C. Okay. So if f and g are the continuous at x is equal to C, then see now here domain of f and g are the same down here. Okay. So domain are also same. Then f plus g, f minus g, f g, bf. This is the scalar multiple are continuous at x is equal to C, and this is what the division. Okay. So here what f upon h. So this should be h now. So denominator should not be 0. Okay. So what we have to prove this one? Prove. Assume that C is a cluster point of A. Assume that C is the cluster point of A. Okay. So f and g are continuous functions at C. So therefore limit x tends to C, f of x is equal to f of C, and limit x tends to C, g of x. Okay. So g of x is equal to g of C. Okay. So now we will do the first one now. So limit x tends to C, f plus g of x f plus g of x is same as limit x tends to C, f plus g of x means f of x plus g of x. Okay. So limit of sum is sum of the limit. So this is what limit x tends to C, f of x plus limit x tends to C, g of x. So this is what f of x, f of C plus g of C. Okay. And this is equal to g f plus g of C, f plus g of C. Okay. So therefore f plus g is continuous at x is equal to C or at C. Okay. Similarly, you can write minus sign here. So f minus g of x, you can write minus sign here, minus g. So here it is minus, here also it is minus, f of C minus g of C. This is what f minus g of C. Okay. So therefore f minus g is continuous at x is equal to C. Okay. So now we go for the product now. So limit x tends to C, f g of x is equal to limit x tends to C, f of x into g of x. This is by definition. This is limit x tends to C, f of x into limit x tends to C, g of x. So this is what f of C into g of C. So this is what f or C. So therefore f g is continuous at x is equal to C, at x is equal to C, doesn't matter, at x is equal to C. Okay. Similarly, we can do for the last one, that is bf. Okay. So we have started here for first one. Okay. So for okay, so no problem for this one. This is the first one. Okay. Now limit x tends to c, bf of x is equal to limit x tends to c, b into f of x. So b is independent of x. You can take a common. You can take outside the limit. So this is what limit x tends to c, f of x. So this is what limit f of b into c. So this is what bf of c. So therefore bf is continuous at x is equal to c. Okay. So the first part is over now. Now we'll go for the second part now. For the second part. Okay. F and h are continuous at x is equal to c, and h of x not equal to 0 for all x belong to a. So that means h of c not equal to 0. Okay. So therefore limit x tends to c, f of x is equal to f of c. Limit x tends to c. What is this? This is h of x. H of x is h of c. Okay. So limit x tends to c, fg of x. So this is what limit x tends to c, f of x upon g of x. So this is what limit x tends to c. Limit of the division is the division of the limit. So this is not g now. This is h. This is h. So this is what limit x tends to c, f of x upon limit x tends to c, h of x. So this is what f of c upon h of c. Okay, h of c not equal to 0. Okay, so therefore this is equal to f upon g, f upon h, not g. So this is what f upon h of c. So therefore h upon h, f upon h. So this is f upon h is continuous at x is equal to c. Okay. So now the theorem is over here. Okay. Now we take the next theorem. So that is if f is continuous. Okay. So theorem. Let f from a to r. Let f from a to r. Be a function. Be a function. A is the subset of R. Subset of R. And let mod f be a function. Be a function defined by mod of f of x is equal to mod of f of x for all x belong to R. For all x belong to R. For all x belong to your domain is A now. Okay, so domain is A. Domain is A. Okay, then 1. If f is continuous, if f is continuous at C, f is continuous at C belongs to A, then mod f is continuous at C. Then mod f is continuous at C. Okay. So also we can say this. This is our for note now. If f is continuous at continuous on A, it is continuous on A, then mod f is continuous on A. Okay. So this is for note now. That means what? If it is a continued all the points of A, then we say that the function is continued continued on the set A. Okay. So we'll not prove it. We'll do this one. Okay. So no need to prove this one actually. Okay. So this is that. Okay. Next theorem. So if A is a subset of R and F from A to R is a function such that f of x is greater than 0 for all x belongs to A, then root of all A belongs to A is continuous at x is equal to c, then root f is also continuous at x is equal to c. Okay, so this is the theorem. So we are not proving this one. Okay, so next theorem. So this is very important theorem. Composition of continuous function. Okay. So theorem. So you are familiar with the composition function. So what that f of g compose x is equal to f of g of x. Okay. So g compose f of x is nothing but g of f of x, like this. Okay. So you are familiar with the composition of two functions. So what happens if f is a f and g both are the continuous function, whether the composition is a continuous or not. So that we want to see. So we'll take a theorem. Let A be the subset of R. We'll write a statement. Let A be the subset of R. F from A to R and G from B to R be functions such that f of A is the subset of B. So that means what here? So this f of A is containing B. So f of A is subset of B. If f is continuous at C belongs to A and G is continuous at B is equal to f of C belongs to B, then the composite function G compose F from B to A, not B to A, this is A to R. Codomain of the domain of the F and codomain of the G now is continuous at C. Okay, so we'll prove this one. We'll apply the definition of epsilon delta definition of the continuity. Okay, so F is continuous at x is equal to C. So therefore, for given, we'll apply the definition. Okay, for given, therefore for given lambda greater than 0, there exists delta greater than 0 such that we'll apply the definition of the continuity. Epsilon delta definition. Instead of epsilon, I have taken the neta now here. Okay, no problem for this one because neta is a real number, so it is given to you. Okay, so such that 0 less than mod of x minus c less than delta implies that mod of f of x minus f of c is less than neta. Okay, so now g is continuous, at f of c. G is continuous at f of c. So therefore for given epsilon greater than 0, there exists neta greater than 0 such that 0 mod of f of x minus f of c less than neta implies that, so which is the continuous? G is the continuous. So g of f of x minus g of f of c is less than epsilon. So that is 0 less than mod of f of x minus f of c less than neta implies that mod of g compose f of x minus g compose f of c less than epsilon. Right? So this that is 0 less than mod of x minus c less than delta implies that 0 less than mod of f of x minus f of c less than neta implies that mod of g of f, okay, g compose f, this is what g compose f of x minus g compose of f at c is less than epsilon. Okay, so therefore 0 less than mod of x minus c less than delta implies that mod of g compose f of x minus g compose f of c less than epsilon. Okay, so this is definition of the epsilon delta. This is the epsilon delta definition of this one. So therefore g compose f is continuous at x is equal to c. So in this way the theorem is over now. Okay. Now we will see some standard function. What happened for polynomial function? So we are familiar with the polynomial function is what? A naught plus a1x plus a2x square plus dot dot plus an x to the power n. So an not equal to 0. N not equal to 0. Okay? Is a polynomial function. Is a polynomial function. See, for polynomial function is what? See the powers of x here. Powers of x are what here? The natural numbers. Powers of x are natural number here, and these coefficients are the real number. So there may be the minus sign, no problem for this one. The power of x should be the natural number. Power of x should be the positive integer means a natural number. Okay. Okay. So is a polynomial function, and polynomial function is continuous everywhere. Everywhere means in the domain of everywhere, in the domain. So whatever the domain is given, so in that domain your polynomial function is continuous. So if we get a polynomial, so polynomial function is always continuous. Okay, so note that. So that means what? For example, suppose f of x is equal to 9 plus 3x minus 7x square plus 3x cube plus 3x cube. plus 7x to the power 9. Suppose so the terms are the coefficients are 0 now here. So that means this is the polynomial function. See here, all the powers of x are natural here. Whenever there is x, all the powers of x are natural here. So that means this is the polynomial function of degree 9. So we are not bothering about the degree of the polynomial for the continuity. Okay, so it should be the polynomial. Okay, so now this is the polynomial function, right? So we know that the polynomial function is continuous. So this is what f, this f is continuous everywhere. F is continuous everywhere for all x belong to R now. F is continuous for all x belong to R. So it is continuous everywhere now. Whatever the subset of R may be. Okay. So in that subset the function, even though it is continuous for the whole the set of the real number. Okay. So polynomial function is always there. So next, rational function. Rational function. So you are familiar with the rational function means what? This is what? P of x upon Q of x, where P and Q, P of x and Q of x are polynomial functions. Polynomial functions. Okay. So this is the rational. A function of the form f of x is equal to P of x upon Q of x, where P of x and Q of x are polynomial functions, each called a rational function. Each called a rational function. Okay. So this is a rational function. Each called a rational function. Is called rational function. A function of the form. A function of the form. F of x is equal to P of x upon Q of x, where P of x, Q of x are polynomial functions. Each called a rational function. Each called a rational function. Okay. And what about the continuity of the rational function? A rational function is continuous everywhere except, this is very important, except at zeros of the denominator. Zeros of the denominator, right? That is zeros of Q of x. Zeros of Q of x. Zeros of the Q of x not. So if you have the rational function, what you have to do? You have to take Q of x is equal to 0, solve that equation. So whatever the solution of this Q of x is equal to 0, at that point your function will not be continuous. At that point your function will be the discontinuous. If the zeros of the denominators are not in the domain of the domain of the f, then it is continuous everywhere, right? So to discuss the continuity of the rational function, what you have to do? You have to equate your denominator equal to 0, find out the roots of that equation. So what are the roots of that equation? At that point your function will not be continuous. So you can say the function is continuous everywhere except that whatever you got the solution, you can say this. Okay. So that will be your final answer. Okay. So now we'll see some theorems. So definition of bounded function. We are familiar with the bounded function. A function f from a to r is said to be bounded on A if there exists m belongs to R such that if there exists m belongs to R, m greater than 0, such that mod of f of x is less than m for all x belongs to A. Okay. So M is positive number. There exists a positive real number such that you may say that there exists a positive real number A, real number M, such that mod of f of x is that. That means all values of f of x lies between two real numbers. Lies between two real numbers. So that means what? There exists. You can say like this. There exists R and capital R. There exists two real numbers R and capital R such that R is less than f of x is less than capital R for all x belongs to A. This is also a definition of a bounded function. That means this is the lower bound, this is the upper bound. If lower bound and upper bound is exist, right? So then that function is a bounded function. This is the lower bound, upper bound of the function. Okay. So if two real numbers, any real numbers are exist, then your function is bounded now. Okay. So one important theorem on the bounded function is that let theorem. Okay. Let I is equal to close interval AB. This is bounded set. We close it and let f from I to R be continuous on I is continuous on I. That means what? F is continuous everywhere, everywhere on the closed interval AB, on the closed interval AB. Then F is bounded on I. This is very important theorem. This is bounded theorem. It is called bounded theorem. Bounded theorem. It is called bounded theorem. Location of roots. If f of A into f of B is less than 0, if f of A into f of B is less than 0, then there exists C such that A less than C less than B, there exists C. You may say that there exists C belongs to open interval AB. There exists C belongs to open interval AB such that f of C is equal to 0. That means what? If there exists two real numbers such that the product of f of A and f of B is negative. Product of f of A and f of B is negative. Then there exists C belongs to open interval AB such that f of C is equal to 0. That means this is the C is the root of the equation. C is the root of the equation. That means what? C lies between A and B. Right? So f of A and f of B have negative sign, opposite sign. F of A and f of B have opposite sign. Then there is the root of f which is lies between A and B. Okay. So this is the important theorem. Now next important theorem is the question will be asked like this: state and prove the Bolzano's theorem. Okay. Bolzano's theorem. Okay. Statement. Let I is equal to closed interval AB. Let I be any be the closed interval, and let f from I to R be continuous on I. if AB belongs to I and if K belongs to R, satisfies f of A less than K less than f of B then there exists then there exists C belongs to I such that f of C is equal to, so instead of this I, so we say I be the closed interval. Okay, let I be closed interval. Okay, if AB belongs to I, because here what you have taken AB belongs to I, and if K belongs to R, that satisfies K lies between f of A and f of B, then there is C belongs to I such that f of C is equal to K. So that we have to prove now. Okay, so prove. Suppose A less than B. Because what here have given only A, B belong to the closed interval R. So we'll suppose that A is less than B, and let G of X is equal to f of X minus K. Then what is G of A? G of A is what? F of A minus K. G of A is f of A minus K. This is less than 0. This is less than G of B now. This is less than G of B. So therefore what? G of A less than 0, less than this. So therefore G of A into G of B is less than 0. So see, this is a positive. G of B is positive and G of A is negative. That means their product is negative. So therefore there exists C belongs to open interval AB such that G of C is equal to 0. But what is G of C? This is what? F of C minus K is equal to 0. Therefore f of C is equal to K. Okay, so this is for A less than B now. Okay, so now similarly, what happens if, okay, suppose B is less than A. Let h of x is equal to, so here what you have taken f of x minus k, so k minus f of x. So then h of b is less than 0, is less than h of a, less than. So that means what here, h of a into h of b is negative now. So therefore there exists C belong to open interval AB such that so h of C is equal to 0. So what is h of C now? So h of C means what? K minus f of C is equal to 0. So therefore f of C is equal to K. Okay. So in both the cases we have proved that there exists C belongs to. So therefore in both the cases we have C belongs to open interval AB. We have, so we write this down, C less than B such that f of C is equal to K. Okay, so this is the end of the theorem. So we have seen all the theoretical part in this lecture. We have seen all the theoretical parts of the continuous functions. This is the theoretical part of the continuous function. Okay. Now we'll just write a note. We'll write this note for the continuous function. For the continuous function, let I be a closed interval with a closed interval, and let f from I to R be a continuous function, then f of I is equal to f of x for all x belongs to I, So then the set, this will be the set now. Perfect. So we can write like this. F of I is equal to f of x for all x belongs to I. It is a closed interval. F of I is also closed interval. Okay, because I is closed interval, and therefore f of I is also closed interval. So that means what? If f is the continuous of the interval, then f of I is also interval. So this is the meaning of it. Okay, I hope that you understand all the theorems. This is the theoretical part of the continuous function. Okay, in the next lecture we will solve the number of problems on it. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you.